The World Bank estimates that 11 million young people will be coming out of the school system every year for the next 10 years. Employers say they can't find good employees, and young people are saying they can't find jobs. There's a gap somewhere in between, and so there's a lot of work to be done to fill that gap. Things like job shadows begin to close the gap. So today is Job Shadow Day for JA Ghana and JA Africa. We're doing this to commemorate African Union Day, and the theme this year is harnessing the demographic dividend that young people possess. We thought we'd do this with the National Youth Authority and the African Internship Academy. So we're taking young people, students out of school today and into the workplace and giving them an exposure to the world of work. For most of them, it's their first exposure.
We didn't have those opportunities where we get a chance to go to campus, go and see what they do.
We've paired young people from schools around Accra with companies in the area who want to take them in and who are willing to offer their employees as a learning experience for these young people. It's very important that they have shadows who they can follow around and learn what the job is really about. So this is an opportunity for them to understand not just what it takes to be successful or to understand the world of work, but to really thrive in it.
It will give them insights into what typically happens at the workplace, which most students are not aware of. They will also be able to envision their lives as professionals, which will help them to make informed choices about their career paths.
For some time now, people in the corporate industry have been honest enough to say that there's a need for corporate industry to take interest in the development of our young people, especially those in the tertiary institutions, because these are the people who are going through the various levels of training and would eventually come out to man these big corporate, institutions.
This is very important. When we started the day, we could begin to understand some of the challenges that employers are having when they say they can't find young people to employ. You see that in the body language of the children that were sitting there. Some were slouching, they weren't making eye contact. They didn't seem like they were really present. So those are some of the things that we need to work with. Technical skills are very important in the workplace. We have no doubt that they're learning these in the classrooms, but what they're not learning are soft skills to bring yourself into a situation, a social situation, a professional situation. So part of our job today is to break them of those habits and to start to teach them the things that matter. How you dress matters, whether you like it or not. It gives a message which is both conscious and unconscious. How you shake hands is one of the first lessons that my shadow and I had to learn, because when you give a handshake that's limp, you're giving data, you're sending a certain message to the person you're meeting. So all of these things are important. You have to have a firm handshake, look people in the eye, hold your head up. All very important things that nobody teaches you. You can see that during the course of the day, there's a transition that the students are making. Light bulbs are going on above their heads and they're starting to learn.
I think that when we start these things from the target group we're looking at, it will get to a point where it will be very easy to put people on, some areas to perform.
Individual believes in ideas we're spreading, and as a company that we groom people for the job field, we always believe that students should always give the needed skills and also give the needed exposure when it comes to corporate and also business affairs.
In doing this program, our hope is that we begin to plant some seeds in their minds and that they begin to understand what it takes to succeed in the workplace, the behaviors that are important, that are necessary, the behaviors that will move them forward, and the things that will hold them back.
Sometimes the education system or the way we impart knowledge on our students lacks the practical elements of showing the realities of what they could possibly do themselves in. So this gives them first-hand, in a controlled environment, knowledge, insight, and a bit of a taste of the reality of, especially an industry like banking, which has so many things around it that people just make assumptions. And back in financial services, it's a great opportunity for them to know the reality of what they can be getting themselves in for when they decide to go down that route.
Split code given to you. So you don't give that number to anybody. Yeah, so that if someone has that number and gets access to your card, the person can take money, and that one you cannot blame the bank.
Job shadowing is very critical, especially for young people who want to be ready for the workplace. It enables them to have a snapshot of how working life is in any particular large organization. It allows them to understand how people work, the meetings they go to, how they take decisions, and how they resolve issues in the workplace. For a company, it's equally important. It is good to be shadowed by a young person. It enables you explain your job to somebody who's younger. If I had a job shadowing program when I was younger, it would have made a huge impact on my life. Sometimes when you go into work, there are lots of things that you do not expect to do. What I knew of banking was just a branch and people, teller and people putting in money and taking out money. But I work in a bank, but I do work in a branch. I work at the back end. And what I do on a daily basis is very different from what I thought a bank does.
Yeah, I want to ask sorry to that.
Okay, no problem.
What if you don't have an account with one bank, but the bank issues you a gift card? What will you be able to use it?
Perfectly. So you can use it anywhere.
So this is the document I present. It's a client identification facility. So I went through it and I go back to you to do some corrections on it, which he has. So I'll have to go through again to make sure it is what I want to correct.
I think we can start building very early on the right and spot the right talent and develop people a lot earlier than. And you can keep an engagement with someone from 8 to 16. They come in and do a few internships. By the time they're finished, if the talent is there, if they're the right sort of people you want, you bring them in, and you've already instilled a certain level of your values in them, and you go going forward. So I think this is it's very laudable, and we should probably expand it a bit more, allow more time, if you like, a deeper interaction between the banks and them.
Before, when we started, we were making computers. If you heard in the video, we did the first personal computer. It was made by IBM. But now, we do not make computers anymore, right? Before, you buy a computer and you have IBM on it, but now we don't have it. We sold that business to a company called Lenovo. So right now, whatever you see as Lenovo was previously IBM computer, but now we don't. So we use the same computers, just that now it's called Lenovo.
I think this initiative, it's a very good initiative. When Andy told me about it, I didn't hesitate to say, yes, let's go for it, because I think it's very important that our children of today understand how the work environment even looks like and what they are preparing themselves to do. I think the kids will now go back knowing that you don't have to be an IT person to work in an IT environment. It's something that every time I get the opportunity to speak to children, I talk about the fact that there are some roles that cut across. If I look at myself, my background is not in IT. I'm a marketer by profession, but as a marketer, I should be able to sell ice to the Eskimo. So what you can do as a marketer is make sure that you are very quick, you are agile, you can adapt to new changes in the environment and be able to pick up challenges, and wherever you find yourself, you should be able to survive and thrive.
Do you know what a laptop is? To ask it.
And at least I think after today they will have some ideas on how things work in the working world, and then maybe for some of them it will shape what their future career should be. I never had this opportunity. I think if I had, maybe it would have given me a little more confidence in approaching my working life decision, because I just entered work green. I didn't know what happens in the working environment. So I think it's a good thing that Junior Achievement is doing, giving these guys some experience of what a working day is for people. What I would say is they should keep at this and give lots more kids the opportunity to experience this. We have enjoyed it interacting with them today, and I hope it will be of benefit to them and in whatever career decisions they have to make after today.
This morning we've had the opportunity of hosting 4 young students, 2 each from the Holy Trinity Cathedral Secondary School and St. Thomas Aquinas Secondary School. We are very proud to host them because this is part of our participation in the Youth Harness 2017. The Youth Harness 2017 is a job shadowing program arranged to give students the opportunity of benefiting from both a mentoring program and a career guidance program. And as an airline that likes to contribute to the sustainable development of the African continent, we are happy we are hosting 4 young leaders of the future, African leaders of the future in this program. I believe the job shadow program is a very important one. I think that the organizer should extend it beyond just the one day thing, because this is something that would greatly impact on and influence the future of our young leaders. As a person, I think I have always been destined to be who I am now. But I think for most people, much more guidance would have helped them more in career selection, in job selection, in the career paths. So yes, I have seen lately quite a number of mentoring, counseling sessions going on. All of these are important, but I think that the Youth Harness job shadowing program should extend it beyond just the one day thing. I think at least a week gives the students a better opportunity to understand what a job entails, what career paths are there, and have current leaders guide them to their future.
I'm Edem Aigbe, Sales and Marketing Administrator for CFAO Ghana. I'm in charge of all marketing activities for the brand here.
The service advisor will let you know. So in case you need your vehicle and the jobs you are presenting cannot be finished on the same day, the service advisor will let you know.
I think the Junior Achievement Program is a very good initiative because for me, I came to CFAO with no prior experience. I studied banking and finance. I was interested in it. I really loved it back in school, but then working here, I realized it's not as fun and I don't have as much passion for banking and finance as I did when I was learning it back in school. On the job here, I started with marketing and I realized, oh, I can do this much better. I love this more. So I believe if I had this opportunity earlier, I'd have studied marketing and be way better than I am now.
Science student. And for science, are you doing medicine or engineering. So engineering, definitely are going after sales. For the after sales, we have the technical section, that is the technicians.
So I think the Job Shadow program is a very good initiative, and I encourage them to spread it to more schools and even go to Kumasi, especially Okokwari.